Right. Hello. Welcome to our weekly transits. And I am going to start on, there we go. I'm one day back. I'm going to start yesterday just to see how we're rolling in. Look how fast some of these motions are going. Wow. It was a very intense lunar eclipse we had. Um, yeah. Solar eclipse. I'm sorry. It was like 5 degrees Taurus. So it was really earthy. A lot of intense energy going on with that. All right, so let's start looking at this. Okay, so we're into the season here of Scorpio, and we see yesterday, Monday, it was like 6 Scorpio, and Mercury's flying now. Mercury just went flying past the sun we saw last week, and flying past Mars, and we've it's stretching out here. So, and then Venus they're struggling in Virgo, and then look what we got in one day, and then we see it's coming. Venus is coming into this trine over here with Uranus. There we go. So today we've got, we were coming into it yesterday, and today we've got this Earth trine, Venus, Uranus. So I don't know, sudden surprises, things out of the blue. This is like totally apropos for this day. Could be just interesting. It's down to earth on one level, but then it's more kind of, it's not as, I should say, it's a little bit more superficial than that, than really deep. So because it's this fidgety Virgo, it's kind of upset and nervous anyway. And then, Uranus doesn't really want to change. It doesn't want it to do much. So it's just kind of a lot of nervous energy for one thing. But it's a nice aspect. It's at least a trine. All right. So then what do we have going on? We stepped in with the moon yesterday, and today we're moving through Gemini. So it's, it's going to affect this. It's an immutable sign. So we're going to have that give us a little square energy with the moon. So you see a little tension. And then we've got where is it? Saturn in Pisces. Where's one? Does a Saturn is getting? There we go. 0 degrees. All right. So squaring Saturn. Yeah, okay, yeah, we already talked about it. Okay, moon. Yeah, earlier in the day it was squaring over there, but that was yesterday. So it's moved on, and let's go over to tomorrow. Actually, I wanted to tell you one more thing. One more thing today. So Venus in Virgo, trining Uranus and Taurus. So we still have that, just that energy which I mentioned. Okay, so then we got Sun, Mars, and Mercury in Scorpio as the Venus in Virgo forms an exact trine with that unpredictable Uranus. There's my notes. What I wanted to tell you. So it's unpredictable in Taurus, and we might find ourselves drawn to the allure of the unknown, tempted by desires or opportunities could be a little unusual. That's nice. Okay. Now we'll move on. I had a lot of papers for this one today. So there's pile. Okay, so now we're coming into Wednesday, and we got the moon. Later in the day, we're what time is this here? About noon Eastern time. So in the afternoon and later in the day, the moon will go into Cancer, and the moon was then, we saw it squaring Venus and Neptune. That's the other one I was wanting to tell you, because we got that. It's Venus that's coming into an opposition there, but we'll get there. But when the moon was back just a little bit, because it's in a mutable sign, it was making a square over to here to Venus, and then a square over to Neptune. So that could have been a little bit of the confusion that maybe will happen tomorrow, midday. So just be aware of that. We still got that waning trine yet, so sometimes things don't happen till after, when it's separating. So Venus just passed, that trine, which the day before, but still keep heads up about that. And then let's go. I want to go hours here. Okay, and then the moon, go back here. So then we got the moon making a trine over to Saturn. So that might be kind of interesting. And when is this? This is like 6:30 in the evening Eastern time. So get the moon making some interesting energies tomorrow. So just kind of be, if something's hitting you funny or something you're feeling off, just realize that and just like, okay, this will pass. And it's like it'll be a few hours. So just busy yourself with something else. But at least we have a moon trine Saturn. Might be kind of an interesting, maybe a little nostalgic. So the moon squares both Venus and Neptune early in the day. And then there's a sense of a little confusion. We already talked about that. Maybe boundaries kind of get blurred. Watch that too. Definitely boundaries are always hard to keep. So somebody might push and you might relent. Oh, okay. Just watch that. You don't have to say okay yet. Say, let me think about it. Yes.
I'm going to interject here because you've got your chart pulled at 6:59 p.m. tomorrow. Tomorrow there is a VOC.
Yes.
From 8:36 a.m. to 5:30 p.m.
Yeah, it's a long one. Thank you. Yep. So that's a day you might not want to sign papers and things that you might want to stick. Or if you don't want things to stick, it may be a good time to just play with this nebulous stuff coming on. Yeah, for sure. Definitely watch that. What else I got here too? Okay, so Venus, where's my Venus here? Try moving around my mind is like, where is it? Okay, so she's at 23 and getting closer to being in opposition here. So we can feel this this starting already, because this, after the void, of course, then like, we got the two benefics, but Venus and Neptune, I mean, things can get a little confusing. Dreaminess, maybe illusion, or disillusion. So coming into that, so watch that. What else? Yeah, we might have a hard time discerning what's real and what's imagined, or what somebody might tell you. It might be a little exaggerated. So just be careful of that, especially relationships or any personal desires. Some kind of a contrasting energy, because the moon is in nice, where are we at? Moon's in nice Cancer, right? Nurturing Cancer. So instead of like what, with that curious Gemini, we're now into maybe needy, clingy Cancer. Maybe watery, emotional. So more of that kind of, might be retreating, or you might have to have some introspection, but that might help keep you out of the nebulous Neptune kind of world by some of that. Let's see. But the nice trine to Saturn, with the moon kind of helps start keeping us a little grounded, maybe keeping us a little bit more stable, even in the midst of all the emotional stuff that's going on. So that's kind of a lot, just in and of itself. And look at how spread out everything is now. We've got a really nice spread out before things kind of get glommed up, but we're not as glommed up as we were a few years ago. Thank God. All right. Thursday, we come into Thursday. The moon is still going through Cancer. So now it's at the middle point there, through the rest of the day. So it will be trining Sun, Mars, Mercury, all in Scorpio, because we got that water and then all the water. So that'll be nice. That'll just add to that little bit more pleasantries, or could be bringing some depth, emotional depth, introspection, maybe connecting with people on a deeper level, or more feelings, or more from, intuition. Now, where's the Sun? And Jupiter and the Sun now are forming an opposition. So that's, we got some good moon, and then now we got this little push pull here. So, well, it could magnify your desires. He's bringing, that shining the sun onto those earthy desires, ambitions, maybe your ego. We got to watch that a little bit. Everything could seem larger than life. You could be pulled in a different direction. The sun is there, but you want to go in, maybe feminine, more of an inner sign, and things may not be letting you do that. Being on one hand, the Scorpio Sun urges us to dive deep and seek the truth and transform. On the other, Jupiter and Taurus encourages us to grow, expand, and maybe to indulge. Jupiter and Taurus is like an indulgence year. I've got to have my good coffee God, what's coffee without roasting it yourself with good honey or something? Some things that we like, whatever. So Thursday, we got a day of contrasts. We got a lot of this kind of push-pull energy going on. You've got that nurturing moon, again, giving us that nice depth and introspection, while the sun, with its Neptune and Jupiter challenge, the way we look at things, and maybe expanding our horizons, maybe expanding in ways we didn't think, or in areas we didn't really expect, but maybe being more grounded with it all. So there's a little struggle between like our dreams and setting things, the practical ways to make our dreams happen. It's like, oh, I guess it'll be perfect. It's like, and then shit, how am I going to do that? Kind of things. Like, so we might kind of hit up against reality a little bit on that. Anything else on this one? Okay, so go to Friday. So we got now the Venus opposing Neptune exact here. So that might be hitting on that, some of that energy. You kind of might feel like pulled toward it's kind of back to this push-pull, pulled toward your idealism or your inner visions, what you dream. And then, you've got to you can't quite bring it out yet because it's still like in a nebulous area, of that. It's like opposing, or maybe it's still undifferentiated illusion. It's like, yeah, I know it can make it that way. And it's just things are not totally cooperating yet. It's like maybe seeing that in somebody or in something, because it's an opposition. That's when things look at each other. So yeah, and then Venus has also got a 1.5 over to Jupiter. We've got a little tension with that. So again, it's like our ambitions or our desires. It may be hard to recognize or to keep our boundaries. We're probably diving into some new things, or maybe making some decisions, and it's just difficult to totally maybe see if that person or somebody that you're involved with, or that's part of it, is totally true and on your side, because there's still a little nebulousness. So anyway, it's still just kind of, the air isn't cleared yet. And then that Cancer energy, is opposing Pluto, as it goes by. So it's going to shed light on, some of that stuff underneath. So it might uncover something, maybe as we go on through the day. And if you're aware of this or something, it might uncover some different things. Yeah. What else to see? The moon, I've got water, and then we've got a nice trine over to Neptune. So so the moon can add some depth over here to the Neptune, to the feeling. So this might be like, go with your intuition, go with your heart, because like your mind and what stuff is just kind of not going to be able to figure it out. What else? Yeah, trusting your intuition. Gently remind you to stay rooted in your feelings, but yet you let the feelings go into intuition. Don't just let it just stay in the feeling part. And then where's Saturn? We see here today, Saturn is pretty much stationed, and it's at that 0 Pisces degree, and it's pretty much going to be like this. I mean, it's like all week. It hasn't moved. It's like at 0 degrees. It's going to be 0 degrees for a while. Look, it went almost all the way back into the sign of Aquarius. Oh, it didn't though. Almost. Isn't it funny how planets just move almost? Oh my goodness. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, mention that it's intense. So Saturn is like almost still, it says stationary. So it's not moving. You got anything at 0 to like say 3 degrees of mutable sign, or it can go back the other way. You go into the back of the, the fixed sign. So it could be like 29, 28, 27 degrees of anything in fixed signs. Either way of this, if you've got there, it'll make oppositions, and then it'll make squares. Watch some of that stuff. So it would be looking at, like 50, or at 0 degrees Gemini, or you can go just back, 28 or 29 Taurus, right? Because that would be the fixed sign right behind it. So look around for that, because that's definitely, making some of those angles. All righty, moving to Saturday. So again, Saturn is moving, is moving direct. So we get the forward energy of that. But one interesting thing, most of the outer planets are still retrograde, and we still, we got like this fluffy energy of all the, we got Mars, Mercury, Venus, are all forward now, and then now Saturn, but yet we still have Uranus, Jupiter, Neptune, and Pluto, and I got them all still retrograde. So we're going to feel like we're moving forward, but we're still got some anchors there. So just realize that. Don't get too frustrated. It's all moving. All right, now the 4th. So the moon now, do I have it on? Yeah, the moon has entered Leo, so we should get out of that maudlin Cancer stuff, that any sticky, gooey, nurtury, and now into bombastic Leo. So it's like, it strides more confidently now. It might pick up the pace, pick up our mood. It might help us to manifest our passions and stuff, while we were like all dreamy about it, all in that watery stuff. Now it's like rubber's hitting the road. And it's a day where we could feel, inspired, expressive. We might have an outlet to shine our energy, or maybe some of the unique things that we kind of are getting. And then now Mercury is opposing, it's at 21 now, it's opposing Uranus. So, we could have some really deep investigations into some things, I think. Some things maybe shining the light on, or suddenly seeing something. Just one thing that comes to mind, I just found out today, it was like 3 days after that eclipse, it was like on the 27th, a hurricane like totally really, really messed up Acapulco. And, there's no media coverage. It's like a blackout. It's really hard to find a lot of information on, but it's, it's really bad, and the people really need help, and they're not getting it. There's no media attention. I think it's just another land grab, but that's my opinion. Anyway, there's supposed to be some dues in with that, the DEWs involved. I'm not surprised, but we'll see how that turns out. So anyway, just more of that hidden stuff coming out. Mercury in investigative Scorpio, with Mars there right up its butt, given that energy, and the sun, that can make for some pretty spicy investigation, stuff going deep. And then over there, all that stuff's kind of opposing Uranus and Jupiter. So Jupiter large, reaching lots of people, hopefully. Uranus surprise or sudden, and in earthy ways. And this could also be kind of like earthquake kind of energy too. I don't like that. But that's definitely some interesting stuff to watch with that. I would definitely look at and watch the media coverage coming out in the next several days. All right. Might have to dig deep. You're not going to find it on regular media. All right. Sunday the 5th. Sunday. Still have the moon in Leo. Just kind of keeping things lively, hopefully. And then this daylight savings time ends out here. So I think just remember that one. So Sunday feels like a little maybe gentle ebb at the week's end. We got the energies of got that nice Leo energy. But Jupiter, see, we got a Jupiter half square Neptune. Well, we got that can kind of amplify that dream and that imagination and boundaries, and kind of back into that little spiritual expansive state. Neptune's, that boundless stuff, and Jupiter's expansiveness, we could get into that little daydreamy, trippy out stuff again. So just watch that we're not overextending or kind of getting lost in too much. So dream big, but just kind of keep anchored in reality there. All right, so we got what? Moon. As the moon goes through Leo, it makes squares with Mars, Uranus, and Mercury. Yeah, baby. Over here to these guys. these trios, tres amigos. So these aspects might stir up some, emotional stuff in you, making you assert yourself. Got the sun and Mars there, ego, and then there's the mouth, we have Mercury. So just make sure it's what, if you get stirred up on something, to come from your heart and to come from integrity. It doesn't mean we have to bite our tongues, but just sometimes it's how we say things. Yeah. Talk about that. So, okay, talk about that. And what else we got going on? Oh yeah, I've got there's kind of a back and forthness between the ethereal and tangible. Back to that again. It's like making a dream a reality, bringing it into concrete. Neptune makes us go into the world of dreams and illusion, spiritual journeys. Saturn in Pisces reminds us to keep, finding grounding amidst the waves, amidst the confusion, or to dissolve things that don't need to be there anymore. Either way, it's like you don't need those mineral deposits on your toes. You don't need those gout crystals. You don't need those uric acid crystals. That could be dissolving that, the Saturn that. So this time could be now for doing that. What else? That's pretty much dreamy. And then go back. There's lots of aspects this week. And on Monday we've got Venus walking into a trine with Pluto. Where are we at? There we go, 28 here. So we got Venus in Virgo, and then over here Pluto in Capricorn. Well, it's we had that one, Venus one, and then now we've got a nice trine. So we had the Venus to opposite Neptune, but now it's trining Pluto. So maybe we get a reward if we can crystallize our vision, bringing it, through the fire, tempering it with the fire, more so to speak. And then we also have Mercury over here trining Neptune. So here's where we're getting our water. So maybe bringing, this is bringing that creative, maybe bringing words to the depth, finding that dream, finding words or ways to communicate it, bringing that communication from that divine, and then we've got Venus kind of stealing the lantern from Pluto, kind of speak. And it's like, look, Pluto, big, voodoo daddy, we got to move on with stuff, loosen it up. So those are pretty nice things that we've got ending our week here. And to me, it seems like it's all about really having that dream, that vision, but keep your feet on the ground. Don't get too impractical about it. It's like, can I do this? Is this real? Am I keeping my boundaries? Am I keeping my distance? Am I keeping my integrity? Am I keeping my word? Do I really want to do this? So a lot of those things will be coming up. And then with Saturn in kind of a still point, it's going to be a lot of energy, and it's really about, I think it's deciphering what you really want. Right now there's a lot going on, and it's just kind of getting in there, focusing and pinpointing, and then letting it roll, letting it enact. So we've got an interesting week. Keep the head in the clouds, but not too much so you don't fall off a cliff. You don't want to look like the Fool card. La la la. Yeah. But we can still keep the head in the clouds, but keep an eye on the prize, keep an eye on the ground. Use this energy wisely, because there's some really nice things, and there's a lot of there's some really cool magical purpose coming up through this week, and wherever hemisphere that you're living on, we can use this wisely, because this is a gift that we have to go through all these things, as the sun tracks around and ties up with planets, and learning to just decipher what we've got going on. And I know some things seem sometimes hard and harsh, but they pass, and it's important to keep our little egos in check while we're spinning around. Sometimes things get us really riled up. Sometimes it's just amazing. Something steps on your toes and you just watch yourself go, wah! So breathe, count to 5 before we react. bring those messages in, this deep dive as we go through looking at things, looking at ourselves and tossing crap out that we don't need while we're going through this time in Scorpio. We're going into this deep depth. We're going into that third quadrant, where Scorpio lives, in the middle of that area. So, all right, I guess that's it. Got an intense week. Let's get on it. Okay. Everybody have a good one, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.